everybody. Welcome back finally to Football Fundits. It's a show that Kern, Animesh, and I, as you can see on my screens, on your screen, sorry. It's a show that the three of us have been doing where we talk about Premier League, we talk about football, Serie A, ISL, and more. And we try and give a fan's perspective to it. So we try and be not too pundity on it, and we try and be more fan-centric. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Project Restart, which is the Premier League coming back, and the top four, the battle for Champions League places. Just to give you a very quick refresher, when we last talked before COVID, obviously Liverpool are right on top. You had Manchester City at number 2, Leicester City having a phenomenal season at number 3, and the battle for that fourth spot, which was really heating up. Chelsea currently sit on 4th with 29 games played, but you have United, Wolves, Sheffield, Tottenham, and you could even argue Arsenal somewhat sort of fighting for that fourth place to finish. So what I'm going to do very quickly on this segment is get my fellow Fundits' thoughts on who they think is going to finish in the top 4. So let's start off straight with Kern. Kern, do you see any imbalance happening between 1 and 2? And if not, then who do you see being toppled, or do you see the top 4 being as is?
So 1 is obviously done, and I don't even want to talk about that. I think 2 and 3 are pretty much set as well. The change that will happen, I think, is 4, or rather, I'd hope so. So I'm thinking United go up, replace Chelsea in that 4th spot. And also, I mean, honestly, even that 5th spot is a wild card right now.
Yeah.
Because if the City ban upholds, and 5th goes into Champions League as well. So it's actually a very interesting fight with, the City decision actually might be out midway while the league is still on. So that's going to be very interesting there. But overall, I think United 4th and the above stays as is.
So Kern says United 4th topples Chelsea in the run to the 38th game week. What about you, Annie? What do you think?
I would say, honestly, I see Leicester falling to 4th, Chelsea falling out of the top 4, and United finishing 3rd. And I'll tell you why. Simple logic. United has the best fixtures after, I say, playing Tottenham and Sheffield. Our last day fixture versus Leicester is, in fact, something I'm more worried about. And if you look at the fixtures even Leicester have, they still have to play the likes of Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Everton. And likewise, if you look at the fixtures of Chelsea have to play Liverpool, Wolves, Sheffield. They have 2 London derbies, Man City. I would be surprised if Chelsea, and no disrespect to Lampard, if they manage to hang on to the top 4. It will be a good achievement. But come on, it's not happening. I think maybe sometimes people are giving Lampard too much praise because he's an ex-English player and English manager. I don't think any other manager would be getting this much, buffer the way. Ole hasn't got this much buffer. Ole gets criticized way more than Lampard does.
Yeah, I completely agree with Annie. So going by what the two of you are saying, Kern says that Leicester will just about hold on and Chelsea will miss out and United will take their spot. And Annie's got an interesting point. He says Leicester have a tougher run of fixtures. They'll drop to 4th and you see United going 3rd. I'm also probably leaning more towards Kern. I think Leicester, even though they have a tricky set of fixtures, they're still 5 points ahead. 5 points with 8 games or 9 games to go is, I think, a lot. And I also think United will just about pip Chelsea in this battle for top 4. So I think between the three of us, we're looking at Liverpool, City, Liverpool, City, Leicester, and Man United. For Annie, Man United, Leicester's just sort of swapping off. Annie, I'm going to just extrapolate what we just said and take this to a slightly larger conversation, which is what then for the likes of Tottenham, Wolves, Sheffield, and Spurs? Don't forget, Sheffield, if they win their game in hand, go ahead of United.
Yeah, so good point. If Sheffield who play the first game back in Project Restart, if they win that game itself, they're already ahead of United. They already beat us into 5th place.
And Kern will know that Sheffield have had a very good season. Kern's been our in-house Sheffield United fan over the last 10 months.
Please don't encourage this. Please don't encourage this.
And tell us why Sheffield and Tottenham and Wolves will miss out. And feel free to throw in Arsenal as well.
No, I was about to say, please don't mention Arsenal. I'm not going to waste limited recording time and painful editing to talk about Arsenal. They're out of this already. Tottenham, good point again. So let's assume Sheffield win, like you said. They're already ahead of us, right? United's first 2 fixtures are Spurs and Sheffield. if United beat Spurs and then go on to beat Sheffield, Spurs already lag 6 points behind. Sheffield already is 3 points ahead of Spurs right there, right? So now you look at Wolves who have tough runs themselves. Look at who Spurs are playing. If they get past United, Spurs have to still play the North London derby. They still have to play Sheffield themselves. Everton, under Ancelotti, Everton have also turned the corner. A very tough side to beat, tough side like to get across. A draw is not enough for Spurs, right? So it's in fact everything is against Spurs, against the likes of Chelsea right now, if you ask me.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And as we were discussing, so Ainis covered Spurs very well. Just to come on to Sheffield, as you mentioned, yes, when I moved to Sheffield earlier, I was hoping they'd do well, so that there's a Premier League team where I am and all of that. But they've started to do too well. They've honestly they're having like a Leicester sort of season, right? If you think about the year Leicester won the Premier League, I think this is a similar season that Sheffield are having, highest place for a team that have just been promoted, all of that stuff, and it's crazy. But what was going well for them was momentum and just having that feeling to just get up and go, get up and go, get up and go. Now what's going to be tough for them is this break, this uncertainty, doubt starts creeping in, and can you really go on with this? And I think that's going to play against Sheffield in this final run-in. I mean, if they make that bogey fifth spot Champions League, as I mentioned earlier, summer, it's going to be absolutely massive for them. I think it'll mean more to them than any of these other teams that are in the running. It'll mean the most to Sheffield United.
I think, that was fair. That's a good point. And I think just to build on that, and Abby, you can then give us your 2 cents as well to wrap that up.
Thanks,
I think... Ouch, he felt bad, it seems. So basically, if the 5th spot does open up, right, I still don't see Chelsea going for it. I still see better odds. Don't get me wrong, Sheffield has done very well. They've had a great run for a promoted side. But Sheffield have a very difficult run of fixtures. They play United, they play Spurs, Everton, Leicester, Chelsea, Arsenal and Wolves. I don't see Sheffield holding on to that.
Card. Yeah,
if they manage it, they should have a statue of the manager outside the stadium. That being said, if I'm saying no Chelsea 5th, and then who takes that spot, then I think Spurs creep in right there.
Fair enough. And I'll just end this with a line on 2 teams that we haven't really addressed, which is Wolves and Arsenal. I think individually, they're almost on this, two clubs with a complete, on opposite ends, so to speak, from footballing terms, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch. You have Arsenal Football Club, which is a giant, a global footballing giant. And you have Wolves, which one would argue has struggled in the Premier League over the last decade or two. They've been on, they've been off, they've been in the Championship for a few years and so on. I think Wolves have done extremely well, just like Sheffield, to even be where they are today. And I think they will take a lot of positivity and respite from that. I don't see Wolves really putting a challenge in. Talking about next season, whether Wolves can keep their best players, Jota, Jimenez, Moutinho, it's tricky. One wouldn't assume that they would. But they've done well this season, regardless of where they finish. And for Arsenal, it's the exact opposite story. For where they are, they should be. I know there's been a managerial change. There's a new guy who's come in, a young, inexperienced manager, one would assume, in Mikel Arteta. So I think where Wolves and Arsenal sit is rather interesting, because they are just 1 or 2 places away from each other, but on completely opposite ends. Arsenal are in a lot of trouble, and I think Wolves are doing well. So
I think, I think you have a good point, Abhishek. Sorry, I just want to add, since I just realized after you mentioned a bit about Arsenal and what Kern has said, Sheffield actually will not finish in the top 6 the way it's going, but Sheffield have a huge part to play in who does finish in the top 5 or the top 4, because they play everyone around them, above and below. So it is going to be interesting, Abhishek.
Fair enough, guys. So that wraps up this segment of Football Pundits, where we discuss the battle for Champions League finish and places in the Premier League. Our pundits go for a United pip in somewhere there. So we're looking at Liverpool, Leicester, United, and Chelsea by and large. So stay tuned for more such content, and we'll be happy to bring you more such snippets on your favorite league and your favorite teams.
And please don't forget to hit subscribe and our individual Twitter and Instagram handles.
And also, please let us know what you guys think, whether it's here or it's under. Let us know what you guys think who the top 5 going to be, and see you in the next video.